Yeah, Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna, Archana Mataji, Indulekha Mataji, Dandavat, Sneha Mataji. For joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Let's give a minute for the others to start. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनच्छलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं प्रजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी शभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद्राधनाथ स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी परिचारिणे निर्विशेष निवादी पाश्चात्य देश मुखम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्पातमहं वन्दे श्री गुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य हरि ओम हरे कृष्ण like to welcome all the devotees. We are continuing our discussion on the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Those who are interested and attracted to hear pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are actually very, very fortunate. Of course, it is a great fortune to be interested in hearing about Lord Hari. It is even more fortunate if one is attracted to Sri Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One is even more fortunate if one is specifically attracted to Lord Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. And it is most fortunate if one approaches the understanding and access to the Vrindavan pastimes by accessing the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Radha and Krishna combined. So even though there are many devotees of Krishna, the last two categories are relatively rare to find. What are those two categories? Those who are attracted to the Braja mood of approaching Radha and Krishna, where Radha Krishna Prana Mora Jugala Kishore, that the exclusive desire is to serve Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. I'm not interested in the Vaikuntha airplanes. I'm not interested in big palatial homes, even in Vaikuntha, which is very easily available. I'm fine just sleeping under a tree on the bank of the Yamuna, even in the spiritual world. All I want is continuous absorption and continuous service to the divine couple. Even if not directly, the mood of the servant of the servant of the servant. That's a wonderful hankering to have. Somebody has that hankering, even a little bit. Maybe not even an intense hankering, but a whiff of that hankering. Just a whiff. Sometimes we like to eat something, but someday we are not fortunate to eat it, but we happen to pass by a place where somebody else is cooking it and we just get a whiff from the kitchen. Ah. ah. So we may not yet be there, but at least a whiff. Rajaras. Smell it from a distance. That's what we are trying to do. I mean, at least that's as far as I can go. So that is a great attraction to have. That is very fortunate. But attraction and faith in Lord Chaitanya and his associates and to approach Vrindavan in the path that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended is indeed a very great fortune. And why I'm mentioning this is, and this is true across not just this class, but generally our observation is across, even in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which is actually Mahaprabhu's movement. There will be generally more interest in listening to Bhagavad Katha than to Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I mean, it's not that both are transcendental, both are wonderful. But actually, Chaitanya Charitamrita is our core. So those who are fortunate to have developed that attraction and faith in Lord Chaitanya and have accepted in their heart Lord Chaitanya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and got attracted to him and are trying to approach Brajaras following in the footsteps. And as per the instructions, following the footsteps is probably a little high for us, but at least following the instructions of those who are following in the footsteps of the followers of Lord Chaitanya. So why I'm saying this, if we have developed faith in Lord Chaitanya, it's a very, very great. Why it is very great benediction is because attainment of Brajaras is actually the most difficult attainment possible. Most. And we as Kali Yuga Jivas, what really is our devotion, austerity, detachment, service? Whenever I look at myself, I find nothing of value. Right? I cannot even approach Krishna and say, give me this. With what face will I say, give me this? What is my adhikar? So the hope for the conditioned souls of Kali Yuga is Lord Chaitanya has come to give, is chasing the souls of Kali Yuga to give this highest thing. All he's expecting is accept with faith. So this is the great benediction. And with this understanding, this faith, we are approaching this great literature, this great pastimes. Otherwise, what is our qualification? To discuss about Radha Krishna. In fact, the discussion on pastimes of Radha Krishna and the character of Radha Rani and the gopis is actually, it's a post-doctoral topic in spiritual studies. And actually, why I'm saying this, because the remaining part of the 14th chapter of the Madhya Lila that we are about to discuss today is discussing that very, very high topic of the character of Srimati Radharani and her ecstasies. Again, a whiff for us of the transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani, the original mother, the source of devotion, the Adi Shakti of the Swarupa Shakti, Adi Shakti of Lord Sham Sundar, the original form of the Supreme Personality of God. So let us start by being grateful. If we have a little bit of that faith, then we are very, very uh, fortunate. We should consider ourselves very, very fortunate. And we can obviously increase our good fortune by taking that faith to our heart, taking shelter of others who have such a faith, follow the process of that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given with faith, with determination, in a selfless way. Then success is guaranteed. Prabhupada would say again and again. When we say this is so high, this is so high, we are not saying this to discourage us. Correct? Sometimes we say, oh, this is so high. It's almost like, oh, you cannot get it. Sometimes it sounds, oh, Prabhu, why you're discouraging? On one side, we want to attain, on the other side. So we want to also be real. We want to understand how great it is so that we desire to attain it. At the same time, we have to also understand we are not going to attain it simply by our own endeavor. I'm not saying our endeavor is not necessary. It's not that if we sit in the chair, it will come to us. Knocking at the door, Prabhu, please take Krishna Prem. So we said, no, Prabhu. No, please take. So of course we must hanker and equivalent activity according to our best capacity is expected, because that is the symptom of eagerness. How do we show to the Lord that we want it? So that is the way we show we want it. Not only desiring in our heart, but really. So if you are willing to take the trouble to work for it, that means we really want it. So we must really want it. If Krishna says, who wants Krishna Prem? Probably 99% of the faithful people will just put their hand up. If Krishna says, okay, I will give it, but if you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra for 20 years, I will give you. 99% of the hands will come down. Because we don't really want it, nor do we understand how great that attainment is. Anyway, so we need to be reminded of our good fortune. We need to be reminded of how much it is important for us to develop and maintain that eagerness and enthusiasm. Utsahat nischaya dhairya tattat karma pravartanat sangat tyaga sato vritte shadbhir bhakti prasiddhyati. How bhakti develops? With enthusiasm, with confidence to execute the principles of devotional service. In the association of devotees, giving up materialistic association, following the footsteps of great devotees. That is the path. Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Instruction. So this particular chapter is discussing a very, very exalted topic. So a very quick, this is part 4 of this chapter. We have been discussing part by part. I think it is part 4 or part 5, I'm not sure. But anyway, at least part 4. So we are discussing roughly from verse 160 onwards. Krishna willing, we intend to complete this chapter. The setting of the discussion of this chapter is, of course, the chapter is entitled Performance of Vrindavan Pastime. Why this chapter is called Performance of Vrindavan Pastime? Because we are discussing about the Ratha Yatra season, the performance of the Ratha Yatra pastimes in the presence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. And within that pastime of Jagannath Lila, we are discussing especially the Hera Panchami pastime, where Lakshmi Devi, seeing where is Jagannath, said he's coming back. One day he said, why has he gone there in Vrindavan? What is there in Vrindavan? Some minerals, some grasses. So much opulence here. Has he forgotten? And after a few days, she's, like a chase wife would sometimes get worried. Has my husband gotten attracted somewhere else? So I must quickly go and grab him back. So in a procession, the Hera Panchami, after a few days, she goes with all her maid servants in a bedecked in opulence, goes and stands in front of the Gundicha temple, and it's a very beautiful uh, fight between the servants of Lakshmi Devi and Jagannath. So that we were discussing, we discussed how Lord Chaitanya and his associates participated in witnessing this beautiful enactment of this beautiful pastime. It's very sweet. So in the process of that discussion, that whole topic comes up where Srivas Pandit, Swarup Damodar, Lord Chaitanya are discussing about this, and they're discussing about, why Lakshmi is not allowed to enter into Vrindavana. And then this whole topic comes up between Swarup Damodar and Lord Chaitanya that only the gopis enter Vrindavan. Lakshmi's mood is not compatible with Brajaras. And we discussed that in a fair amount of detail in the last class, so I will not go into that topic. And Lord Chaitanya is so excited when it gets into this topic. And this is the favorite topic because this is the topic that Lord Chaitanya has come to relish. Krishna has come to relish in the form of Lord Chaitanya. The love of the residents of Vrindavan, especially the love of the gopis. And Lord Chaitanya is so excited, he's asking, go on, describe the different kinds of heroines. What is their mood? And we discussed so many. We discussed various kinds of heroines. And finally, we concluded in our last class where it is explained that there are broadly two kinds of gopis, the left wing and the right wing. The right wing gopis are very submissive. Krishna, always speaking very pleasing words. The left wing, they cannot come in the control of Krishna, even though Krishna will try. They show a kind of jealous anger, man, which we also discussed earlier. They will resist Krishna's advances. They will have what will externally appear as if they have verbal spats, arguments, clashes. Of course, all these are done in the mood of loving service to please Krishna. So these are not licenses for us to start behaving like this. So I am a left wing spouse to my husband. So I will also show a lot of jealous anger. I will also. So these are all transcendental rasas. When they get perverted in the material world, it creates all bitter rasas, not pleasant rasas. When they become perverted, they become bitter and frustrating. So these rasas are not to be imitated on the material platform. Otherwise, they are actually the cause of pain, frustration, and misery. But on the transcendental platform, because all kinds of rasas, all kinds of interactions of a Krishna's pleasure, they are very sweet. So it appears amongst the gopis, more than the submissive gopis, Krishna likes the love of the resisting gopis. Krishna, don't touch me. What are you doing? Krishna likes that more than, oh Krishna, whatever wish, I am your servant. Again, this is not for us to act out. Should always try to be externally. We should always act as a sadhaka, act in the mood of a right wing. Left wing is not to be imitated. Those are higher rasas in a transcendental platform. Should always remain submissive like Hanuman. Lord, what do you want? Tell me. So that's why we said these are all postdoctoral topics. Sometimes we get ahead of ourselves and start acting as if we are on all these very, very high transcendental platforms. So there are left-wing gopis and right-wing gopis. And Krishna loves tasting both. Correct? If somebody says, Prabhu, you like idli or you like vada? So most of us will say, Prabhu, we like both. Like idli also, like. But amongst them, I prefer. Some will say idli, some will say vada. Huh? So both are wonderful, both are tasty, both are nourishing. Huh? So Krishna's personal taste is left-wing gopis, and Radharani is the chief of the left-wing gopis, and Chandravali is the chief of the right-wing gopis. So after having discussed this, the discussion of Radharani's qualities begins. So now this is a very, very confidential topic. Again, a lot of things are discussed, and I'm going to just touch briefly. Like I mentioned last time, these are very high things, and may not be able to relate so much. The key point that is being discussed here is the exceptional transcendental qualities and abilities of Radharani to please Krishna. That is the key point. Why Radharani is Krishna's favorite? Because nobody else can charm Krishna's heart as much as Radharani. Nobody knows how to please Krishna the best. Prabhupada would often say that there are three kinds of servants. Three kinds of servants. One kind of the servant is when the guru asks for milk, he gives milk. Follow exactly. Ask for milk, give milk. Huh? There are others who are a bit extra smart. The guru asks for water, they will bring milk. Arey Baba, I wanted water. No, no, milk is more nourishing than water. So I brought you milk, Guru Maharaj, or whatever. Arey Baba, but the guru wants to drink water, no? He doesn't want milk. We act smarter than the guru. So that category is not desirable. Desirable is to follow exactly what the master has told you. But even higher than following exactly what the master has told you is to understand what the master wants even without the master asking. Which is such an expert servant. He sees the guru from a distance. He says, I think guru is thirsty for water. He knows when to bring water without the guru's asking. He knows when to bring milk. And the guru said, Arey, I didn't even ask for it. How do you know? No, no, Guru Maharaj, I thought you may want some water. Guru is please, Arey. He knows my heart, knows my mind. This is the top class servant. That's a Rupa Goswami is considered the top class servant of Lord Chaitanya. Why? Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Supadantikam. Understood the heart of Lord Chaitanya perfectly. Exactly. In fact, Lord Chaitanya himself would be so surprised. He said once to Swarup Damodar, how come Rupa Goswami has understood my heart? How did he figure it out? I never even revealed it. And Swarup Damodar said, oh Lord, that simply means that he has received your full mercy. That is how to understand your heart, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why we are discussing this is Radharani is such a servant of Krishna. She knows exactly at what time when to be soft, when to be harsh with Krishna. Because sometimes being harsh and tough with Krishna also Krishna enjoys. She knows exactly. He should not try to act like that. He'll end up offending the Lord. If we try to act like that, we will be when the Guru asks for water, we go and give milk. We want to be the top category, which if we are not, we should at least act at the first category of what the Guru says you do. But that is Radharani's perfect. That's why she is known as Radha. Because she knows how to do perfect aradhana of Hari. How to perfectly worship Hari. Aradhita Anaya. This is the perfect gopi. Who's and that perfection comes from perfectly understanding the heart of the beloved and exactly knowing how to serve. So Radharani is expert. That's why she's the chief of the gopis. Gopi Gana Madhya Shreshta Radha Takurani Nirmala Ujjwala Ras. She is the source of all kinds of pure transcendental mellows. Prema Ratna Khani, she is a jewel of ecstatic love. What is the physical characteristic? Vayase Madhyama. She's of middle age. Middle means she's in her teens. Generally, she's very equipoised. Of course, sometimes she in front of Krishna, based on situation, she'll display her Vama character. Otherwise, she's a very equipoised. Swabhavete sama. Third prema bhave. Very intense, thick, ecstatic love. Nirantara Vama. But always she's left wing. She has that mood. Which means her womanly anger is always awakening. And that gives Krishna great happiness. Very, very advanced stages of ecstasy. Adhiruda Mahabhava. Her love is known as Adhiruda Mahabhava. So there are various categorizations of prema. We don't have time for that discussion. There are levels of prema, where Adhiruda Mahabhava is considered highest. From Bhava, Prema, there are many levels which are explained by the Acharyas. And her love is totally devoid of any material tinge. Vishuddha Nirmala. Yaiche Dasavana Hema. 10 times purer than gold. Her bodily complexion reveals her mood. Sometimes devotees ask, oh, why is Radharani yellowish complexion? Why is Krishna Shama? There is also a reason for it. The yellowish golden complexion, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. The Tapta Kanchan represents that pure, Ujjwala, Nirmala love that Radharani has. That golden, that bhava, Adhiruda, Mahabhav, Swarupa, Srimati Radharani. That golden color represents that loving mood. And Krishna is Raseshwara. He is the one who's eager to taste all kinds of rasas. Rasaraj. And Radharani is the most perfect individual who's capable of completely satisfying Krishna's all desires for all kinds of rasas. See, we have to understand that the Madhurya rasa, there are 5 rasas, right? Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Madhurya, each of the subsequent rasas includes all the previous rasas. So the Radharani is able to fully satisfy Krishna in all ways. So Krishna is Rasaraj. When all colors are mixed, the Shastras say, the colors represent different bhavas, different rasas. It actually generates a color known as Shama in Rasa Tattva. Shama is not exactly black. Shama is, of course, in the material world, there is not an exact equivalent of the Shama color. So sometimes we just say black. Sometimes we compare it to dark rain cloud. Correct? Ghanasham. Ghana means cloud. Ghanasham. So of course we can only do a comparison based on what experience we have. How can we compare it to something which we have no experience of? But Krishna's color doesn't match anything in this world exactly, but it's something of that category. It's a bluish blackish complexion. It is considered when all the rasas, different rasas represent different colors, they're all mixed together, the sham color manifests. So Krishna is the taster of all rasas, is the Rasaraj. And Radharani is the one who is offering that rasa for Krishna's play. Why it is like this? The reason is very simple. That same one truth has become two for the purpose of experiencing rasa. This, there is nothing. So that same absolute has become Shakti and Shaktiman, has become Krishna, all attractive, and his energy. And they are continuously having pastimes to experience rasa. The one becomes two to expand rasas, and that two becomes many, further increase their rasa. That's the sum and substance of reality. There isn't anything more than this. This is the bottom line. So either we participate in the loving affairs and drink from that nectar of rasa and achieve amritatva, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, go towards material darkness, go towards the light of transcendental rasa. Mrityor ma amrutam gamaya. Or we will, if we don't want that rasa, we have to drink Maya's rasa, the dirty water of material existence, the Trigunamai. Either you drink the Ujjwala rasa, the source of which is Srimati Radharani. Tasty, nourishing, immortal, fully satisfying to the heart, eternal, glowing, pure, which is actually our real nature. Or if you say, no, 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 why I should worship Krishna? Why he's expanding, I have to serve him. I want to be in the middle of the Ras Lila. I want the gopis to dance around me. But that is not our constitutional position. So if we have these kind of misinformed desires because of avidya, then we have to drink the dirty water of prakrita rasa. There is transcendental rasa and there is prakrit means material rasa. And material rasa is frustrating. Why it is frustrating? Because it promises happiness but delivers misery. It promises happiness. It appears glowing from outside, but when you actually drink it, it is dirty, bitter, smelly. Anyway, that's a whole different topic. But I just wanted us to not forget the bigger picture, because this is what is more important for us to understand. We can go and discuss about Radharani's specific qualities, but this is the key thing that we need to understand. Then the chapter starts discussing about the various transcendental ecstasies of Radharani. Now I'm going to go through this section very briefly. The focus of this part of the discussion is where Swarup Damodar is explaining to Lord Chaitanya, much to the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya, what are the various kinds of ecstasies, bhavas, which Radharani develops in her body, in her personalities, actually attracts Krishna. Different kinds of bhavas could be emotions which are expressed. There are various categories. The bhavas are known as ornaments of ecstatic symptoms. Bhava bhushaya. As soon as Radharani sees Krishna, all these ornaments, not ornaments as in this ornaments, the ornaments of ecstatic symptoms become manifest in her personality. That attracts Krishna. Correct? Now, I'm just going to give you a gross example. I'm not going to go into a lot of technical details because we may not be able to appreciate. When a girl comes in presence of her beloved, suddenly she changes, right? She realizes suddenly, oh, my beloved is here. her facial expressions become in a particular way, her eyes start showing in a particular way, she starts standing in a particular way, behaving in a particular way. Huh? Her bashful feminine attributes become very apparent, and those become very attractive to her lover. Like in Hindi, now this is a very crude, I'm just helping us understand. It may not be an exact match, but in Hindi we say ada, ada. The way she stands, the way she moves, the way she talks, the way she flips her hair. The boy who sees this, look at the way she's standing, look at the way she's moving her hand. Huh? Right? The way she moves. Each of these things charm the heart of the beloved. The way Radharani, when she's in front of you, the way her eyes become moving restlessly, that is charming to the eyes of to the heart of Krishna. The way her eyebrows move, Krishna's heart is charmed. I remember a few years ago, I don't know how many years ago, in South India, there was this movie, and I don't know whether it's a movie or something like that, where one South Indian heroine, she became famous because of the way she moved her eyebrows and she winked at a boy. Everywhere, like that for months and months was going on, and shots were coming up in the feeds everywhere. Savitri, I do not know. uh, so, some aspects of how feminine, of course, that particular expression wasn't an expression of bashfulness, but what I'm trying to say is, the way a feminine feature is exhibited can be attractive to the heart of the. So Radharani is very expert in this, and there are many bhavas which are listed. Kila kinchita bhava, kutta mita bhava, various kinds of vilasas and lalita. So I'm going to go through this very briefly. So Kila kinchita bhava has various categories: pride, ambition, weeping, smiling, envy, fear, anger. Radharani's face lights up with these kind of emotions. And when Krishna sees these emotions also, uh, Krishna becomes so happy by seeing this ecstatic display of emotions on Radharani's face that is more pleasing for Krishna to see rather than direct interaction with her. Lord Chaitanya, as he was hearing all this Swarup Damodar describing, he became so blissfully embraced Swarup Damodar Goswami. He said, "Oh, you are making me drink nectar. This is so wonderful. Please speak more. Please speak more about these bhavas, emotions. Tell me also about the vilasa of Srimati Radharani." So the vilas of Radharani means those, like what we discussed, those ecstatic symptoms which are specifically manifested in a woman's face, eyes, and other bodily parts, especially the way she moves, she sits, huh? Like what I was saying, using the word ada. In Hindi, they say, "Uski ada mujhe divana kar deti hai." So we'll say, the ada of that particular heroine. So Krishna becomes maddened by the ada, by the vilasa of Srimati Radharani. So there are various descriptions of her ada, the way she sits. Radharani also has a threefold bending form in the way she stands when Krishna is around in a particular way. Krishna, is also very. It is said her body. There's also something known as the Lalita Alankar, or the ornament of feminine charm, in which her body is curved very expertly and delicately. Her eyebrows are agitated very beautifully. And it is said when Radharani is decorated with this Lalita Alankara, which is manifested just to increase Krishna's love and joy, it says she's manifested also in a threefold bended form. Krishna has a threefold bended form. Right? Radharani also has a threefold bended form in her neck, legs, and waist. The flickering movements of her eyebrow, the Govinda Lilamrita explains, can conquer the powerful bow of Cupid. Krishna is extremely beautiful. Krishna is Madan Mohan. It is said the god of love, Madan. He once come to Vrindavan and he saw Krishna. He is expert. He has a bow, right? Shoots arrow. People, the heart in through which the arrow goes. Young boys and girls like to depict like that. They like to draw on trees, paint on the rocks, write on buildings with the names of them and their girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Huh? So that is heart and that is the arrow of Cupid. Pushpa Ban, the flower arrow of Cupid. What that flower arrow means, it's a big topic. I don't have time to go into that. One day we can discuss. What is the meaning of that Pushpa Ban? But that feminine charm, essentially that feminine charm is projected and captures the heart of the one who's experiencing that charm. So Madan is expert at that. Krishna's eyebrows. Krishna's eyebrows. Don't look at mine. I'm just showing mine. Mine are terrible. My wife always says your eyebrows are so terrible. But Krishna's are very beautiful. So I'm pointing at mine just so that you can try to imagine Krishna's, not mine. Krishna's eyebrows are extremely beautiful. And if you see our eyebrows, all of our eyebrows, when they are shaped appropriately, they also look like a bow. Correct? The two sides of a bow. Arrow like this, bow like this. So this is known as the Krishna's bow, Madan Mohan's bow. Madan Mohan, when he looks at his devotee, with this bow, he throws arrows. And those arrows are so much more powerful than Cupid's arrows. The Shastras say those who want to become free from material lust should meditate on the eyebrows of Krishna, eyebrows of Shamsundar. This is his Pushpa Bana. Pushpa Banaya Dhimahi. Those who meditate on the Pushpa Bana of Sham Sundar, Govinda Gopinath's eyebrows, they become free. Because that Bana which comes from there is so powerful and attractive to the deepest core of the heart. Even Madan falls unconscious. But that Madan Mohan, when he sees the moving eyebrows of Radharani, he becomes agitated. That's where Radharani is known as Madan Mohan Mohini. So these things we cannot even imagine. If Madan can fall unconscious by seeing Krishna, what is our situation? And Krishna can fall unconscious by seeing Radharani's eyebrows. So this has gone beyond our realm of imagination already. We are describing all this just to understand what is the pinnacle of attractiveness that Sri Radha Gopinath ji represent. And the ultimate object of our life is to find pleasure in getting attracted to this, because this is what is worth getting attracted to. You understand? When the heart is charmed by the eyebrows of Krishna, the heart will lose all other charm. The day Krishna, with his eyes, which include his eyebrows, looks at us with loving devotion and sends an arrow of Pushpaban which touches our heart, finished. You cannot undo the effect of that arrow. You're finished. You're finished means you cannot be attracted to anything else. That is what finished means. You become materially finished, materially exhausted, because there is nothing which will compare. Anything else will appear so pale in comparison to that attractive feature of Madan Mohan. So anyway, that's a big topic again. So Lord Chaitanya was just enjoying that. So they discussed the Kila Kinchita Bhava, they discussed the various Vilasas, they discussed the Lalita Alankara, they discussed the Kutamita ornament, which is manifested by Radharani. When externally she tries to avoid Krishna, right? We discussed this also a little earlier. It's also kind of a way to increase Krishna's love. Krishna advances, she resists. So that resistance also increases Krishna's love. Okay, so this is also not to be imitated by us. Prabhu, please do some seva. No, Prabhu, I am displaying the Kutamita Alankar. I am resisting the seva. Let it be at that transcendental platform. These are not, let's not twist this and, abuse. That's why I keep on mentioning these are very transcendental things, because Radharani knows exactly what will please Krishna. She knows when being submissive, Krishna will be happy. When by resisting, Krishna will be happy. When by chastising, Krishna will be happy. Sometimes Krishna becomes happy and excited by Radharani resisting and chastising him. Don't touch me, Krishna. I told you already. I'm going to go and complain to Nanda Maharaj once more. Because Krishna will sometimes pull her braid. She'll tuck at her sari, tease her. Then Radharani will chastise. Just wait, I'm going to go and complain. So these kind of loving things happen. So the conclusion of this section is that in this way Radharani, and we have just taken a few examples, is perfectly capable, because she knows the perfect ways in which to charm Krishna's heart, please him, to serve him in a way that he is most satisfied. No one else can match that ability of Srimati Radharani. And the reason is very simple. So she is Krishna's Swarupa Shakti. Krishna has himself manifested his own energy in that way. So who can be better than her? He is supreme, she is also supreme. The one supreme has become two. So we are all seeking shelter of Radharani, blessings from Radharani. So somehow we get some blessing to serve Krishna in a way that will please him. She is the mother of devotion. She is the source of all devotion. She is the source of the right mood for devotion. So we are ultimately followers in the footsteps of Radharani and her servants. Because ultimately the highest rasa of Braja is to aspire to become the servant of the maid servants of Radharani. And our whole parampara is about that. Oh, I took so much time just for this. Hare Krishna. I have another 50 or 60 more verses. Okay, I think I can still rush. Let's see. I thought we better discuss the broader aspect rather than getting into the technicalities of the various alankaras, vilasas, and the bhavas. So for us, when we read the Srimad Bhagavat, when we read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we are actually attracting our hearts to Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes. In that way, we are actually meditating on Krishna's form. Of course, we are developing a meditation. Bhagavatam is the form of Lord Krishna. From the feet, the first two cantos, to the 10th canto, which is the face. Right? So as this whole conversation that we have been discussing is Swarup Damodar and Lord Chaitanya discussing. Srivas Thakur is standing next to them. And Srivas Thakur, being an incarnation of Narad Muni, he likes to, create some spice in the conversation. So Srivas Thakur, this is all going on as the Hera Panchami festival is getting celebrated. This conversation is going on as they are sitting and witnessing this Hera Panchami festival. Srivas Thakur tells Lord Chaitanya, oh, he starts glorifying Lakshmi Devi. Just see how opulent my Lakshmi Devi is. The Vrindavan opulence is, you all are getting so excited about Vrindavan. But the Vrindavan opulence, what? Some flowers, some leaves, some gunja seeds. Gunja are the small beads, reddish brown beads, which are used for making ornaments in the forest. Some forest minerals. What is so exciting about all these things? Srivas Thakur is speaking in a joking way. Look at my Lakshmi Thakurani, bedecked with gold, opulence, this, that. When Lord Jagannath went to Vrindavan to enjoy these very simple rural decorations, Lakshmi Devi, bedecked with great opulence, came to him to make a mockery out of the opulence of Vrindavan, to show, this is opulence. Why? What are you attracted? This is opulence. So Srivas Thakur is describing, he said, it is said that at this time, Lakshmi Devi's servants, this clash was happening between Lakshmi Devi and Jagannath's servants. Lakshmi Devi's servants are chastising Jagannath's servants. Why? Why your Jagannath abandoned our Lakshmi Devi? She's so opulent. What is there in this Vrindavan? Why you all came here? Why you're not coming back? What is so attractive? What is there in Radharani's garden? Which is so attractive. So go and bring Jagannath out. Lakshmi Devi has come. Bring him out to meet. So like that, the Lakshmi Devi's servants start chastising. Actually, they not just chastise and say this, they actually tie Jagannath's servants. And they, with sticks, they start beating Jagannath's chariot. So Jagannath is sitting inside in the altar. Chariots are waiting outside. They start beating Jagannath's chariot with sticks. So this all is enacted actually every year. If you go on the Hera Panchami pastime, you can witness all these festivals. If you don't know these pastimes, you will not understand what is going on. This is what they will do. They will tie up these servants, then they will beat the rathas. All this is enacted. So they practically treat Jagannath's servants like thieves. So finally, all Jagannath's servants say, sorry, Lakshmi Devi, they, at the end of she's the wife, so, we are, servants, so, oh, sorry, we will, don't worry, yeah, we know it's a bit late, he was supposed to come 3 days ago, but it's a bit late. Don't worry. Tomorrow we'll bring him. Tomorrow. So somehow it is said they pacify Lakshmi Devi and the servants, and they convince them that don't worry, we understood, we made a mistake. Externally, they're just saying, manage the situation. We will bring Jagannath back to Sri Mandir tomorrow. So Srivas Thakur is the mood of Narad Muni. So he's an incarnation of Narad Muni. He was joking, describing all these details. And Lord Chaitanya then speaks to Srivas. Oh, Srivas, your nature is exactly like Narad Muni. It looks like the opulence of or Aishwarya of the Lord is having an influence on you. But look at Sarup Damodar. Be attracted to Vrindavan. He's a Brajbasi at heart. He's a Brajbasi. He's not attracted to the opulence of Lakshmi. He's attracted to the simple beauty of Braj. And then Lord Chaitanya and Sarup Damodar, actually Sarup Damodar glorifies the opulence of Vrindavan. So so many times we mentioned this, oh, the opulence of Vaikuntha is so opulent. The opulence of Vrindavan is so simple. Fruits, leaves, flowers, minerals. It seems as if it is pretty pale in comparison. But Sarup Damodar explains, no. even though Vrindavan is Madhurya and simple, and Vaikuntha is opulent in terms of jewels, thrones, lot of formal worship and all that, actually the opulence of Vrindavan is much higher than the opulence of Vaikuntha. And he explains very beautifully that even though the opulence is natural, qualitatively it is much, much superior even than the opulence of Vaikuntha. And there's a very beautiful verse. In fact, he says that the opulence of Vrindavan is like an ocean. The opulence of Dwarka and Vaikuntha is just like a drop in front of that ocean. So Damodar explains. Parama Purushottama Swayama Bhagavan Krishna Yaha Dhani Taha Vrindavana Dham. The complete opulence of Sri Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, is only displayed in Vrindavan. And how is that opulence displayed? It's a very beautiful verse which is a part of Brahma Samhita. Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Ruma Bhumis Chintamani Ganamai Toyam Amritam Tatha Ganam Natyam Gamanam Apivamsi Priya Saki Chidanandam Jyoti Paramapiya Aswadyam Apicha. Very beautifully it says, what is this Vrindavan Dham? The Vrindavan Dham, the gopis are like millions of Lakshmi Devis, where each of the gopis is more opulent and beautiful than any of the Lakshmis. Sahasrashata. We are talking about one Lakshmi here, but each gopi of Braj is more beautiful and opulent even than the Lakshmi. And there are millions of them in Vrindavan. The land there, Chintamani, each stone there is a wish-fulfilling stone. It's Chintamani. Each tree in Vrindavan Dham is Kalpavriksha. You want whatever it will give you. The cows there, Goloka, which is full of cows, are wish-fulfilling cows. So people are walking on what stones which are wish-fulfilling stones? What kind of opulence? They're not just even walking on jewels or gold. They're walking on Chintamani. Lie down under a fruit tree. That tree is wish-fulfilling tree. Anything you want. So Golok is known as Chintamani Dham. Everything is wish-fulfilling. For pleasing and serving Krishna, any desire, anything, immediately, all facilities and opulence becomes manifested for serving. And there in that transcendental realm, the Supreme Brahman, in his full majesty, is manifested in Shyam Sundar form. And in that form, all opulence and potency is fully manifested. Murtiman, the Brahma Jyoti, is directly perceived there in its form. And there, Krishna, which is ever-present companion, the Vamsi, is playing the flute beautifully and having loving relationships with the residents of Vrindavan. Ah, that is Braj. So sweet, so beautiful, so opulent. So Acharya has explained that Vrindavan is extremely opulent. But the beauty and sweetness of Vrindavan is so much that the opulence of Vrindavan goes into the background. You understand? It's very opulent, but the sweetness is so attractive that in front of the sweetness, the opulence becomes secondary and sweetness becomes primary. That's why it's Madhurya Dham. It's not that it's not opulent. It's much more opulent than Vaikuntha. But of course, the opulence of a natural, simple opulence, the way we just discussed. Krishna's beauty and the gopis' beauty is so extraordinary that it is said when ornaments are there on the form of Shyam Sundar and the gopis, the ornaments become more beautiful by being on the body of Krishna and the gopis. It's not that the ornaments make Krishna more beautiful. The ornaments become more beautiful by being on Krishna's body. That is the kind of beauty. So all these beautiful opulences were described and various verses were quoted by Swarup Damodar Goswami. And then we'll just conclude in 5 more minutes. As this beautiful opulences of Braj were being described, Srivas Thakur, of course, at heart is a Brajbasi. He was simply trying to take the role of a proponent of Aishwarya just to create some rasa or discussion. Then as he heard this beautiful description of Braj, he started dancing in ecstatic love, clapping his armpits. And Lord Chaitanya also became extremely ecstatic, and he became overwhelmed with rasa vesha. Began to dance. Rup Damodar, seeing the Lord in that ecstatic mood, he began to sing to nourish that loving sentiment of Lord Chaitanya. And the Lord was in such deep mood of love, remembering Radha and Krishna and the qualities of Radharani and the Gopis. He went on and on and on dancing. The Hira Panchami pastimes were going on, and the Lord was dancing and dancing and dancing, inundated the whole Puri with Krishna Prem. Parallelly, of course, the Hira Panchami pastime, because of that, Jagannath's servant promising Lakshmi Devi, he will bring him tomorrow. Lakshmi Devi went back to Jagannath's temple. But Lord Chaitanya still continued dancing. He was in that mood. And Lakshmi Devi went back, but Lord Chaitanya is dancing. The devotees were also dancing. Finally, devotees all started getting tired. But the Lord was not getting tired. By the time it became noon, the Lord's dancing became double. Finally, the devotees had to go to the Lord and somehow sound him. He's very tired, I think. Should now, maybe we just take lunch now. And then the Lord, understanding that, if he doesn't stop, the devotees will not stop, and the devotees are already tired. So finally, they went to Narendra Sarovar. They all took bath there. Then after that, they had a lot of Mahaprasad was there, which was offered to Lakshmi Devi and Jagannath as a part of the Hira Panchami festival. They all honored that Mahaprasad. It is said when Lord Chaitanya was dancing that particular dance, he went so much into the mood of Radharani. Actually, he took the form of Radharani. Not everybody could see it. Nityananda Prabhu could see it. Not everybody could see it. So such beautiful pastimes were manifested. So like this, the Lord, performed so many beautiful pastimes for the 8 days that the Lord was there in the Aitota area of the Gundicha temple. 2 more minutes and we will conclude. It's the last section of this chapter. So next day, Lord Jagannath's servant had promised will bring Jagannath. So they went to Jagannath and said, oh Lord, please, become too much. Your consort is coming all the way to the house to here in Vrindavana and coming and challenging and beating us up. I think, before your domestic situation becomes worse, you should go back. Of course, this is all Lila play. Jagannath said, yeah, I think, now. Next year we'll come back. So let us go back now. So this whole ceremony again of the return Rath Yatra of Jagannath starts. So then there's the Pahandi ceremony. Pahandi ceremony is a ceremony where the Lord from his altar comes down and ascends on the Rath. Pahandi happens when the Lord ascends on the Rath from Jagannath temple. Of course, it also happens as the Lord returns in his Rath Yatra. That's also another Pahandi. So the Lord there is tied with silken ropes, and there are cushions which are kept for the smooth motion of Jagannath. You must have seen in the videos how the Lord sways and, moves like this. And there are devotees pulling him. It is said as that ceremony was happening and the devotees, including Lord Chaitanya and all the devotees were watching, the ropes snapped apparently. And some of the cushions, they couldn't take the weight of the deity and they kind of exploded. All the cotton was flying in the air. So the Lord Chaitanya noticed, oh, this is poor quality ropes being used. So the Lord called 2 of his confidential associates from the village of Kulinagram. Their names were Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan. Very great devotees. And he told them, these ropes which tie Lord Jagannath are actually a manifestation of Ananta Shesha. So I want to give this service to you. Next year onwards, please prepare more stronger ropes. But they should be very silken. We don't want ropes which will hurt the Lord's body. We want ropes which will be very soft on the Lord's body, but extremely strong. Silken but very powerful and very beautiful silken pillows. This is the seva I am giving to you. Please accept this seva. So they were very, very happy. From that year onwards, they started making those ropes which are used for the Pahandi ceremony. So in this way, finally the Pahandi happened and Lord Jagannath came back to Jagannath temple and went back and sat back on his throne in Sri Mandap of Sri Mandir. Of course, there are some other rituals which happen when he comes back to the door. Lakshmi Devi also, it's not mentioned in this chapter, but it is said when he comes back to the door, Lakshmi Devi is still angry. So she closes the door of the temple. Jagannath, you wait outside. Huh? You didn't come, no, for so many days. Why you want to come back home now? You stay outside. She doesn't let Jagannath coming. Jagannath is waiting outside. Problem, Jagannath Baldev Subra. Now, how to get inside the house? So then there are some other sweet pastimes which happen. Jagannath tries to pacify Lakshmi Devi. No, I just don't know why you're angry. And he makes nice sweet rasgullas for her. And there are pots and pots of huge rasgullas which are kept and offered to Lakshmi Devi, and he feeds her. And then, with love and sweet gifts, pacifies Lakshmi Devi, and finally she allows him inside. So all these pastimes are enacted at the entrance of the temple. So very, very sweet. If you know the meanings, are very, very sweet pastimes. So in this way, this whole discussion of this chapter concludes. And this whole section is known as the section of Vrindavan pastimes. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami concludes by saying, the Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are so unlimited, even Sahasra Vadana Shesha, 1,000-headed Shesha, cannot fully describe the limits of his pastimes. Chaitanya Goshanira Lila Ananta Apar, Sahasra Vadana Yar Nahi Paye Par. Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Yara Ash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe. Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai. Samaveta Gauram. Thank you. You have concluded the chapter. Any questions, comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Sridharji, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Prabhuji, the Lakshmi Mata, the same temple, like inside the Jagannath temple, the same.
Yeah. There is a temple on the right side.
Yeah.
The Mahalakshmi temple there.
Okay.
Yes.
So the same thing, these pastimes are related to the same Lakshmi Devi only, right?
Correct. So on the main altar, Lakshmi Devi is not situated because Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra are situated. Lakshmi Devi's temple is just outside, on the right hand side, slightly behind.
Yeah, near to Lakshmi Narasimha temple.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so thank you all very much. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gauram ki. So we'll continue our discussion.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you everyone. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Prabhuji.
everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Ashwin, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Vrinder Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand Sundari Mataji, Sini ji, Tarun, nice to see you. Rita Joshi ji, nice to see you after a short break. Nice to see you back. Sridevi Mataji, thank you. Sneha ji, Bhaskar,
Krishna Prabhu.
Anna ji, Indulekha Mataji, Sachi Prema Mataji, with Prabhu, Sapna ji, thank you, everyone. So I'll see you next Saturday.